professors, honorable lecturers of the faculty, wonderful students of the Faculty of Law, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome everybody the first ever OOU Law Research Fair, tagged the 2025 OOU Law Research. Please, a round of applause for the faculty and for everybody. I won't take any much time. I want to start by inviting distinguished personalities table so that we can commence of the day. The first person I would like to invite is the person acknowledged as the father of jurisprudence in the faculty. He's a legal scientist. He's a jurisprudential juggernaut. And he is the dean of this wonderful faculty. Please clap your hands as we welcome Dr. Ade Olomu Akinrinade to that table. Most welcome. I want to recognize Magdi of the faculty, a distinguished professor of business law, commercial law, theological law, a Yoruba professor, property law, and even land law, because he recently published a wonderful book on land law in Nigeria. Professor Olusegun Mujahid Olije is presently the Department of Business and Industrial Law in the faculty. So when you hear about the next person I'm going to, you will feel that we are having a meeting of Association of Deans, past deans. We also have another past dean of the faculty, a professor of private law, a distinguished, yes, an expert in oil and gas, Professor Idowu Adebile. When I was a student here, about 30 years ago, Professor Adebile taught me law of thoughts. And now I'm teaching them law of thoughts now. So it's like a grandfather in the faculty. We also have a very special guest with us, all the way from the Department of Mechanical Engineering in Ibogun. Is here to represent the University Research Committee, Professor Abayomi Layeni. Also present here this morning is the head of Department of Public Law in the Faculty of Law, a distinguished legal scholar, a theologian, and a title holder in the church. Yes, a double doctor. But I will just use the formal title and say Dr. Mrs. Adekunle Johnson Odusoya. You are welcome. All right. To show the importance of this program, the Alumni Association of the Faculty, they sent a representative because the alumni has always been interested in the progress of the faculty and the welfare of the students. So representing the alumni of this faculty is a member of the judiciary in Ogun State, Mrs. Titilope Otayemi Oshikoya. You are most welcome. Yes, a distinguished magistrate in the Ogun State Judiciary. So this is a balanced high table. We have engineers, we have lawyers, we have magistrates, we have scientists, we have everybody. And then to now cap it all, the guest speaker is an AI ethicist. So it's a complete package. Okay, Mr. Also here is one of the special mothers in the faculty, a specialist in conveyancing, a specialist in land law, a specialist in equity and trust, a specialist in student welfare and every other thing you can think about. Dr. Mrs. A.K.A. Kolawole, the head of the Department of Private Law, and the head of the ceremonies committee of the faculty. Yes, and the chair of the faculty research committee. You are welcome, ma. And well done, ma, for putting together this package. Another special mother in the faculty, an expert in commercial law, in law of contract, law of negotiable instruments, company law, corporate practice, whatever, you can name it. A strong pillar of the faculty and a former sub-dean of this faculty, Dr. Mrs. Oluwakemi Anyele. You are recognized. Also here is another doctor from the Department of Business and Industrial Law, an expert in intellectual property, company law, corporate practice. At least when you hear all this, you can know why our students are always making first class in the law school, because we have so many distinguished experts in the faculty. In the last bar finals, we had 14 first class students in the law school. In the whole of Nigeria, just go law. Dr. Fumi Olabode, we recognize your presence. To balance the mix, we have an expert here who is not only a scholar but also a Jerusalem pilgrimage. But his expertise is land law and law of thoughts. And because of the recognition, he was invited to Jerusalem. Mr. J.O. Akintola. And we have another expert to contribute his quota to the development of this faculty, Mr. Ashowabi. You are very welcome. Member of the Jurisprudence and International Law Department. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize the engine of the faculty, the think tank, the person who sees to all the administrative duties, who ensures that everything runs smoothly in the faculty. And that is no other person than the faculty officer, Mrs. Tunrayo Adelabu. You are welcome. And we also have Mrs. Olayinka Buraimo with us. We are recognized. Okay. I think I've covered the field. So without any much, okay, before we proceed further, I just want to recognize the presence of our speaker, the facilitator of today's program. He's a former student of the faculty and he has really done well within a short time of graduating for the faculty, such that he has become a world-renowned expert in AI matters. And that's no other person than Mr. Kingsley Owadara. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Owadara, please come to the stage. A round of applause for Mr. Owadara. I want to invite our deaconess in the faculty, Dr. Mommy J. O, to say the opening prayer.
Shall we please rise up for the opening prayer? Father, we want to thank you even for the mercies. I'm going to the program of today. We will direct all the activities in Jesus' name. We pray that we will enrich our knowledge in every way, and at the end of the day, all glory shall be unto your holy name, for we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Shall we have us, please?
Let's take the national anthem. Where are the choral chords, the choral performance? All right. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. You will stay down there. Thank you very much. OU anthem. Thank you very much. Please have your seats. Please a round of applause for all the wonderful voices. So, before we move on to the presentation of the seminar, we need to go down the jurisprudential lane. We want to hear some words of jurisprudence from the distinguished dean of our faculty. Please, a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. The Vice Chancellor in absentia, my colleagues that are here present, Professor Lydia and Professor Adebute, the Dean from Ibu, and other distinguished members of the high table, and also the students that are present. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the maiden edition of the Faculty Research Fair. We would like to express our gratitude to the university, at least for engineering this particular program. As at this level, for those of us that are here, we may probably not know the essence of this fair. It is an avenue for us to not only to interact, but also to learn and also share opinions. During this program, that is between today and tomorrow, we are going to listen to some lectures, there's going to be moot competition, and aside from that, there will be poster presentation in relation to certain things that are being done in the faculty. But more importantly, it is also an avenue for us to showcase our research and also for the students to develop their orientation and also break new grounds into areas which they may probably not have insight into. Having said that, I would also want to express my gratitude to my colleague in the faculty for controlling this particular event. We learn every day, like I normally say. I'm sure for those of us who does not know the Nigerian national anthem, or who cannot even recite it, it is part of the research. And I think I will ask the organizer to give me that indulgence and opportunity, maybe create about 20 or 30 minutes, so that we can take ourselves through the new national anthem, new in the sense that it has just been changed. Be that as it may, I wish each and every one of us successful deliberation, and that we should enjoy the fair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So in just about 2 minutes, you heard about the classical school, the reality school, the positive school, and everything positive about the faculty. Thank you very much, sir. The next item is a speech from the representative of the University Research Committee. So I want to warmly welcome Professor Abayomi Black. Yes, a welcome speech.
Thank you very much. This is almost impromptu. But I'm representing the Vice Chancellor, where the Research Committee, University Research Committee. It is a pleasure able to be here because of the topic, especially how AI and law goes together. We've been seeing a lot of things that have been going on, and I want to welcome all of us here today. As the Vice Chancellor will say, everything is being put in place, and you see these days OOU is becoming more visible than ever before. The school, the infrastructures are getting better. Even outside this university community, people are really talking about OOU. I had privilege of meeting some of our ex-students in the past 2 weeks. One told me the last time he came, that was even about almost a year ago. I said, you need to pay another visit to OOU again. That the place is different, the orientation is different, and this research fair is just the first. This is like every one of us catching the, I don't want to use the word fever, catching the zeal of the research fair. The university research fair will be done. All the faculties will be involved in June. We have the university research fair. It's going to be a big event too. Companies will be invited. And we are doing this also so that students like you can be encouraged, we can put that fire in you of research and getting your workload. It's not only the staff. You can start writing right now. You can start doing some research, start putting your publications, maybe in the newspaper, maybe in journal article, and that is how the school will keep on being known. And when we are known, we'll be able to attract the necessary grants that we need to attract to do this research. Presently, we complain no money on this, and we're waiting for TEDFund. But it's one of the reasons why we are not getting is the visibility. The moment we begin to get proper visibility now, we'll begin. Those grants will begin to come on their own. I know some federal institutions, the old ones, they almost beg them with grants, and I believe very soon OU will be in the same category, and we will also be getting the grants as we need to. That was the time I was discussing with Professor Adekoya then, and we're talking about AI to law and some of the advances that AI, as people have done with AI, are doing, putting all the records together, and just like your ChatGPT that we have now, you just put some things in it. They actually have the law one that has all the law, the data for law all over the world. You just put some information in what you want, and it comes out. And also discussion with a colleague too. AI is something that you can't do. I know some lecturers are resisting it, but it is supposed to be a tool. I see AI as a library, the new library that we have, and because it has a lot of information, and I see it, and I sometimes encourage my students to use it. While in class, when I'm asking them a question and they can't answer me, before I give them my own answer, I say, check chat. See, what's he saying? So I'm just trying to encourage them to also use that. It's a tool. It's not that you go there and copy verbatim and paste it there. No, but that can get information for you quickly. So once again, I welcome all of us here. I believe it's going to be a good outing. The 2 days will be very good and excellent. Thank you. Thank you for coming, and enjoy this.
Another round of applause, please. Now, the importance of this program cannot be overemphasized. The reason why the US and China and all other superpowers, the reason why they are where they are now is because of research. It was their research that led to all the development that they are experiencing now. So we also need to focus on our research. Presently, all we want to do is to jump back to those countries. But we should stay here and do research and improve our own country if we can tackle the problem of corruption. So, the next item is the citation of the guest presenter, Mr. Kingsley Obadara. And to do the honors, I want to invite Dr. Funmi Olabode. Please a round of applause. Thank you very much.
The citation of Mr. Kingsley Bamidele Owadara. Mr. Kingsley Owadara is an emerging thought leader in artificial intelligence ethics. His work focuses on data justice, algorithmic transparency, and the contextual application of AI across the African continent and the majority of the world. His interdisciplinary work bridges technology, ethics, and social justice, contributing significantly to global conversations on inclusive and AI development. Beyond his contributions to policy development, Mr. Kingsley has been an active voice in the AI ethics community, engaging in numerous projects, dialogues, and advocacy efforts. His work focuses on promoting a human-centered approach to AI across its life cycle, from design and training to deployment and practical application, specifically within the African context. His expertise and insights have not only enriched national conversations, but have also drawn international attention. Internationally, Mr. Kingsley has contributed to the Generative AI Public Work Group of the National Institute of Standards and Technology at the United States Department of Commerce. to develop a risk assessment framework for using generative AI. He has also contributed to international frameworks such as the Global AI Index, the UNESCO and AI 4D funded framework on gender and privacy, and the Google funded framework on AI pedagogy. In 2023, Mr. Kingsley contributed to Nigeria's National Information and Technology Development Agency as part of the Volunteer Expert Group, drafting Nigeria's first national artificial intelligence policy, which is currently under approval. He was pivotal in policy development and as a team lead of the Artificial Intelligence Ethics Cluster. As a mentor, Mr. Kingsley Owadara has supported the next generation of ethical technologists through various global and regional initiatives. He's a two-time mentor with All Tech is Human and served as a mentor with AI in Ghana, Divas in AI, and the Teens in AI Global Hackathon. He also contributed his expertise to the Lawyers Hub use of AI in judiciary hackathon, guiding interdisciplinary teams on responsible AI development in legal context. He has presented at several high-profile conferences and academic platforms, including the University of Edinburgh Futures Institute, where he co-authored What the Majority World Can Teach Us About AI. Mr. Owadara has also engaged with leading regional platforms, including Deep Learning Index in Zimbabwe, where he discussed data ethics in algorithm modeling, and Index Nigeria, where he co-led a data ethics and machine learning development session. His focus on the ethical deployment of AI systems in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals was featured at the Sustainable AI Conference Lab in Germany and Data Science Africa 2023 in Kigali, Rwanda. Through a wide range of media engagement, Mr. Owadara has emerged as a vital public voice on the ethical and social dimensions of artificial intelligence. His ability to communicate complex ideas to diverse audiences has made him a sought-after commentator on both mainstream and digital platforms. In 2024, Owadara appeared on SOUQ TV discussing the implication of CCTV surveillance in Lagos public transport system, critically examining the balance between public safety and privacy rights. He has also given his insights on several other social platforms. Mr. Owadara is an AI ethicist at the Pan-African Center for AI Ethics. Is an organization, Pan-African Center for AI Ethics is an organization committed to fostering the development, deployment, and use of AI in a manner that prioritizes human-centric values. At the heart of his role, he spearheads the initiative to craft and refine ethical AI frameworks, ensuring that artificial intelligence technologies are developed and deployed with a strong emphasis on human values, ethics, and inclusivity. Please can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you very much, Dr. Labodi. So, just 5 minutes was allocated to the reading of the citation, but I think the citation is so packed that it should have been allocated about 30 minutes.
I'm sure you are not thinking about this. I'm sure you're not thinking about this, right? Because there was this joke that was just a meme that was going around, that a person told another person that he's a data analyst, and the person was asking how much is M10 gig. So this is not what we're talking about, right? This is also not what we are talking about. This is also not what we are talking about. Because some of us, our idea about data is this binary system. Like there is this person that is just going and I just data is just running, some unknown things are just running, and mathematical processes are just running on it. So I want to ask, maybe just one person, when you hear about data, what comes to your mind? Information. Okay, information. Any other person? What comes to your mind when you hear data? Anybody? Don't worry, I don't want to call you. Just raise up your hand and just data, what comes to your mind? Let's look at it from this perspective. Data could be raw facts, information, often in form of numbers, text, images that can be processed or analyzed to gain insight or make decisions. Conventionally, unlike what we think about data, that data probably are a set of numbers, data could be numbers. For instance, my age is a number. My date of birth is a number. The address of this faculty could be a number. Your house address could be a number. Your mobile number definitely is a number. It could be text. Text as to your genotype. It could be text as to maybe a legal brief. It could be text as to anything. And then it could be images. For instance, as we are seated together and a picture was taken of everybody, you have gotten the data of everybody, the pictorial data of every person that attended this session. As of instance, it could also be video. Until recently, it became videos too, where you could actually derive insights from videos. In fact, recently it's now a big thing for surveillance system where if there are contention as to alibi, you could actually release a video that I wasn't here, I was here. And AI could be trained, or an algorithm, or anybody could actually gain insights from all of this data. Now, I want to, in about 10-15 minutes, I want to summarize the entire NDPA for you, right? And I hope that you find it very, very easy. So, for every data protection regulations or law, you find some key things there. And just pay attention because there is a question after this. You find personal data. Personal data in this instance would be any information relating to an identified or identifiable individual. Now, think about this as a data that can only be yours. And we can derive insights from this from what I call data points. So if, for instance, I did not mention your name, I said there is a boy, he is in Faculty of Law, he is in 500 level, he is from XYZ local government, he stays in XYZ community in Agorewe, his age is XYZ, his phone number is XYZ, his matric number is XYZ. Do you know from this data, without mentioning the name, you can tell who the person is? Because as far as collaboration and evaluation is concerned, a matric number can only be for one person. Two persons cannot have same matric number, which means you can gain insight from just matric number. You can also gain insight from maybe health insight from just health data. For instance, maybe the blood group, the age, and other things. You can gain insight from it. And then we have the data processing. In this instance, we refer to any operations or set of operations performed on personal data. It will mean collection, storage, use, and transfer. Now, in this instance, in this setting, you observe that while this session started, we had a sheet of paper going on, and there was collection of email address and all those things, going on. Maybe I could even use that as the instance we want to give. So there was email address, there was all those things, going on the sheet of paper. For collection, storage, used probably for the drafting of certificates or for other things, and transfer. And then we have a data subject, the individual to personal data relate, that means the person that owns the personal data. We also have a data controller. A data controller in this instance would mean the entity that determines the purposes and the means of processing personal data. And then we have the processor, the entity that processes personal data on behalf of the controller. Now, let me bring it home. Bolaji, it's a fiction. Bolaji brought a sheet of paper, went around, collected names of people on behalf of the faculty for some legitimate use. Now, can you identify, okay, let me make it easier. Bolaji collected the detail of Abdul on behalf of the faculty, right? So Bolaji collected the name, matric number, surname of Abdul for the purpose of the faculty. Now, in this instance, who is who in this chain? Who is who? There is Bolaji that went around collecting your names, right? There is Abdul as part of the people that the names were collected, and this was done on behalf of the faculty. Who is who? And you know that I did mention about a data subject, data controller, and a data processor. Who is who in the chain? Please go ahead, okay?
So Abdul is the data subject, the faculty is the data controller, while the person who collects data, the name of the person, Bolaji is the data processor.
So why do you say that?
I say that because Abdul is the data subject. It's his information that is being collected, right? His personal information is identified as an individual, while the faculty is the person, is the body determining the purpose as you have it there, while the data processor is the person who engages in the physical collection, who processes the data in the sense of collecting it.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's try together for him. So that's exactly what it is. When you, and this could be as easy as this, and sometimes it could be a complex chain of data processor. Typically, any app you are using has series of data processors. Let me give an instance. You are using, let's say, Jumia. You are using the Jumia to shop. As part of the chain of data processor in Jumia app, you have a dispatch rider that gets your data to find where you belong. You have a bank that collects your card number for the purpose of confirming your payment. You have the supplier that gets your data for the purpose of understanding what you're buying. And then you also have the platform that collects your data and recommends products for you. So you see that all of these people, they get to use your data irrespective of the chain. So I give an instance here. Imagine a company called TechCo that runs an online platform where users can sign up for an account. Now, TechCo collects and processes personal data such as name, email address, browsing history, and here's the twist, right? Alice, a user, signs up for the platform and provides her personal data. We have Evolve, which is a contractor working for TechCo and helps to manage the database where Alice's personal data is stored. And then you have another person, Charlie, which is a third-party marketing agent, is hired by TechCo to send promotional emails to Alice based on the data Alice provided. Now, this is what a rough tech company looks like. A rough company that provides technical solutions This is what it looks like. So, who is the data subject? Who is the controller? Who is the processor? What role does Bob play? And most importantly, can Charlie send promotional emails to Alice without TECO's approval? We understand this as we proceed. So we see in this instance that TECO is the data controller because they are the owner of the platform, right? And they determine the use, the extent of usage, the storage, the transfer, the processing of the data, or otherwise of the data that are collected. You also have Bob, who's a controller, Bob, a contractor, is a processor. You know that Bob's contract with them is basically for the purpose of analysis of the data. It means that the contract that Charlie signs with TECO is only for TECO and not for Bob, which means that Bob cannot process his data. Just the way you have, I think there was a case on that. There was a case on, was it not last week? No, 2 weeks ago. On, was it Jumia? No, Domino Pizza. Yes, there was a case on Domino Pizza where somebody ordered for pizza and then a third party was emailing him. And he was wondering, I didn't buy pizza from you, why are you emailing? And the court was a heavy fine on Domino Pizza. So the idea is that whatever is the right, whatever is the agreed consent that is granted to the company is only with the controller and not with the processor. So just saying, for instance, Bolaji that is collecting data now takes a picture of the names of students that are collected. Why are you taking the photo? Except if he was expressly instructed by the faculty that, okay, get a copy of the data, probably for other legitimate purposes. Except that why are you taking picture of the attendance, right? So what I'm saying is that the agreement is between the data subject and the data controller, not the processor. So I will not read this scenario, we've already done that. So what are the privacy principles, right? What are the privacy principles when it comes to the processing of personal data? We have the lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. We see that data processing should be lawful, fair, and transparent to individuals. So if you are processing the personal data of people, and I told you that processing can mean collecting it, storing it, using it, transferring it, and co. If you are processing it, there must be a lawful base for doing that. Why? Is it that for the person to be able to access your platform? Is it for quality control? Is it for whatever it is? It must be lawful and you must be fair, right? Fairness in this instance is on the usage of the data. If you are saying that, okay, that also would live up with purpose limitation, and you must be transparent. If you are saying that this is collected for X, Y, Z, it must just be for that purpose alone, and it must not exceed that. And then we go for purpose limitation. And do you know that some companies, some AI companies actually generate the data of people and they use that data to train another model, right? Most of them have like a third-party company, a sister company. They transfer the data to such people for usage. And if you question them, one of the things they'll tell you is that you already consented to it. So most of these things are scrambled, in privacy policy. You see a privacy policy that is 30 pages. And I'm wondering, is it that I read all these things? I just want to use your tool. I consent, anything, and that's exactly what happens. Where you go on, for instance, you can go on an AI tool and ask about yourself, who is XYZ? And you'll be surprised on the information the chatbot have about you. Especially if you're a person that, some information here and there are on the internet. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised of what an AI tool has has about you, has to say about you. So that is on purpose limitation. On data minimization is a serious thing. Just imagine, Bolaji again is collecting data, and as part of the things that is collecting, because you are attending the conference, they ask you, what's your name, what's your surname, what's your email address, what's your phone number, what's your genotype, what is your age, the year you are born, what is the name of your dad and your mom, what is your blood group, just to attend a workshop. And I'm wondering, what is all this, right? And that's on data minimization. The idea about data minimization is that only relevant data, only necessary data should be collected and processed. So it means if you are using any tool that tends to ask you more than necessary data, for instance, you are not probably using an health-related tool and it's asking your blood group. How can, let's say for instance, for OPay as a company, you are registering for OPay and OPay is asking for your blood group. And I wonder, how does blood group have to do with transfer of money? I mean, does blood group make you more efficient? Or a particular company that supplies logistics is asking you for your matric number. You are ordering for a particular thing and it's asking for a matric number. I'm wondering, how does matric number actually have to do with ordering of bag or ordering of shoe? You know, and you know some people actually do that. But most of us will not know because we have not observed it. Some tools actually. So, some of them actually go to the extent of asking data that is not relevant, right? And then you have accuracy. You know, personal data must be processed accurate and kept up to date. In fact, there is a provision that you could actually, you know, as part of your right as a data subject, you can update your data, you know, as to what an AI tool or a company has about you. Storage limitation. Now, storage limitation emphasizes that if you are processing the data, there must be a period of time for the processing of that data. I mean, for the keeping of such data. You cannot keep the data in perpetuity. I mean, you are holding it as long as possible. In fact, some tools will tell you that, you know, after you have deleted your account with us, we'll keep your data for 3 months. And after that, we'll delete it. Most of them are lying, though. But they are just putting that to tick the regulatory box that, you know, we are responding to the storage limitation, you know, provisions of the legislation. And then we have integrity and confidentiality. Personal data must be processed securely, and then accountability. Organizations must demonstrate compliance with these principles. So as a data controller, you have the following obligations: confidentiality, ensuring that the data are collected are confidential and just for you alone. Just imagine the whole world knowing your health history, or knowing your family health history, that this particular family has a history of, you know, diabetes. Does it make any sense? So, I mean, it brings some sort of discrimination. If I see you, I already know everything about you, right? So it must be confidential and it must be secure. Secure in such a way that it must only be accessed by authorized party and not just something that anybody can access. You also have storage. You must ensure that, you know, all security in place to store the data, and then it must be sustainable as to the storage. So as a data subject, you know, we have series of rights, and the first is consent. I didn't put it there. Consent is a big deal. As a person, you must either implicitly or explicitly consent to the use of your data. And recently it became a big deal with the advent of generative AI tool in such a way that people do not know how to use this tool. You just go to the tool, you put your name, I mean, you put personal data while using these tools. So by default, you are consenting to the organization training your data based on the data you have fixed. I mean, you are the one that put your address, put your age, put your location, in fact, put your health history in the chatbot, and you're complaining that it has your data. This is a test you can do, right? This is a test. You can use any chatbot you are using currently. Just go on it and prompt, tell me, based on my prompt history, tell me about myself. So you could do that based whether you're using ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, or so. Just say, based on my chat history or based on my prompt history, tell me about myself. And you'll be shocked at the amount of data, information these tools have about you. And this is because you have fed such with the data. The other thing is right to access. You must be able to access your data at any time you need it. For instance, you should be able to, write. I think recently companies really do it where you can write to them and tell them you want your data between a particular time to a particular time, and they will give you, because it's your right. You should be able to, ask for access your data. You should also be able to object to it. When I mean object to the training, object to the processing of your personal data, because not until recently that the NDPA came on board, where it restricts, automated decision making, which means that you cannot just automate, decisions based on personal data. Object, as the use of your data, and then right to ratification. Ratification in this sense where you can actually correct your data, right? You can correct your data. And another thing I didn't put here is right to be forgotten. And right to be forgotten in this instance means you can withdraw your consent. And for generative AI tool, the best bet you can do, I told you that you can go on your generative AI tool and put, tell me about myself based on my chat history. When you get that, you can say, forget everything. And it can actually clean its memory from everything it knows about you. So it's something I advise that people do often and often, where you could go, ask about who you are based on chat history, and then ask the tool to forget about you. Because the truth is that you have the right, actually, to be forgotten. You have the right to be forgotten. Okay, what are the privacy risks? In the era of AI, I want to cite two instances, and this happened real life, right? On data leakages and profiling. Let me start with profiling. During I think it was during Obama's election, where there was the Cambridge Analytica scandal. So what did they do? As at that time, majority of the world were on Facebook. So what they did was that they pulled up a poll on Facebook, answer this question, answer that question, and with that, they were able to map out people that were in the US, and then they were able to send targeted political ads, to them. And that really compromised the election. It was a big issue. So you see that data can actually go to the extent of compromising a free and fair election, because a person can map your data, can profile you, and send you customized and personalized ads that can end up influencing your decision. And then there was instance on data leakage on Netflix, where they were able to understand, they could understand people's movie experience, people's movie choices, and there was a data leakage on it, and it was really a big deal. So you might think that watching Netflix is nothing, but actually there are data points in all those things. So when you watch Netflix, probably you're active on Netflix, you're active on Shopify, you're active on Apple Play. There are data points that these things are being used to give you personalized, experiences. There's also issue on surveillance and tracking, right? Surveillance and tracking, and this was when recidivism was trending in the US, where people were profiled based on their criminal history. So we could use a surveillance system because there is a unitary sort of database, we could understand, and then every point have like surveillance. We could understand your crime rate, you could understand your activity, and then you could use it to track a person, right? And these are big risks, right? Because personal data are involved, and we also have the instance of manipulation. If you are really careful, if you are really observant, when it comes to when you are using a chatbot, do you observe that after putting your prompt, the chatbot most times will tell you, do you want me to do X, Y, Z further? How many of you observe that? Yes. So you ask that, give me a definition of, give what is X, Y, Z, what is the criminal legal issues in this particular thought, and then the thing has given you the idea. So now ask further, do you want me to further analyze it and give you decided cases? Do you know that that particular thing has lured many people into many things? Because you are now, it's now trying to, it's trying to control behavior. I think there's a research that is going on AI companionship, right? Where people use AI as personal companions, and this it is most times they are for health benefits because there are people with special needs. For instance, people with
discussion on data protection and data privacy. I'm sure a lot of you will have questions, especially since a lot of you are on Snapchat and TikTok and all other social media apps. I'm sure, yes. Presido. Who else? Yes, Sule. Come forward. Yes, come forward. The ladies, are you not the ones on Snapchat and all these other apps? Maybe some are even on dating apps, and you want your privacy to be protected. Please come forward with your questions. Adeomi, do you want to ask? You want to say something? Not at all. All right. So please introduce yourselves and ask your questions.
So my question is that, as regards data protection and privacy, across Nigeria and other countries in the world, our regulatory framework, there are some laws that try to regulate how much data can be produced. For instance, we have the Nigerian agency finding data So I want to ask that, what are the enforcement types? Because even the regulatory framework itself is not very strong, but the enforcement is also lacking. So what do you think about that? What is the
So my question is regards the certification is the CIP, So thinking that, okay, after, as well as when we qualify and LLB and industry, we can just practice as data privacy and specialize in data privacy. We have to go for the certifications, and then we can share is like what the function of the certifications and the qualifying documents.
So, sir, my question goes on this. On data protection, actually, the emerging trend in this is the issue of no nice and agents. Most times, it has even been brought to my notice of recent that they tend to share false information to your contact list, which is based on the data they requested for. And definitely while we were authorizing them to have access to our contacts from our phone app, we never authorized them for the essence of them reaching out to our contact members or contact list. Is there a possible way we can sue them on thoughts for this breach that they consistently impose on random individuals just due to lagging behind the minor deficiency?
And basically, we're talking about the rise of the data subjects and the rise of the certification. And recently, I was in a kind of internship where some information were asked, especially the address book and all that. But in the information there, I felt this may not necessarily to this particular thing I want to retain for. And I want to ask, how can I rectify that to withdraw such based on that? It's even a legal frame. How can I rectify such information on withdrawing that this particular information are not actually needed in this area? So, what's the process of rectification in that aspect?
Data protection and enforcement. Now, lately, when the NDPC, Data Protection Commission, had a new commissioner, it became a very, very serious thing. I mean, there's a lot of initiatives that are now coming up, at the commission. If you are current about it, you will see that aside from NDPA, they are now, implementation frameworks that are now released that will strengthen, the engagement with the framework. So there are several enforcement, and also you have rights to even, as a data subject, you actually sue for data breach. And recently the court has been doing so well on awarding damages on data breach. If you are following it, the court has awarded damage on Dorino, awarded on GCB, awarded on several banks, even on base. I mean, the court has been doing so well on awarding. So as a person, you could actually write to the company. If they don't respond, the best bet would be either you could write to the NDPC, they also respond, NDPC responds to email, or you just take it up. I mean, most times you just serve them one document, they respect themselves. They will not want to take it to court. Just threaten them with maybe like 4-page documents and tell them that these are the breach, that these are the rights they have breached, and this is what you are resorting to. Most of them will call you and they'll try to sort it out with you. On certification, certifications, when it comes to Nigeria, there is, anybody can be a data protection, a DPO. Until recently, I think the NDPC now started having like a record of DPOs in Nigeria. But I did mention about CIP/US, CIP/US, CIP/in. CIP means Certified Information Privacy Practitioner. It is offered by a company in the US, IAPP, right? And the reason why it's like a standard certification is because the certification has gotten international recognition, right? But you don't have to wait till you are done with your undergrad to have the certification. There are people that are taking certification while they are having undergraduate. And it's not just for lawyers. Because people think data protection is just for lawyers. It's not just for lawyers. So there are non-lawyers, there are cybersecurity guys that are taking this certification. So if you think that this is you and you want to take it, you might want to take it, although it can be pricey, but I mean, you can, some people get scholarship for it, so you can take the course. Most also, you can also do internships, write about it, and just start sharing insights about data protection. That way you are trying to build an expertise in that space. On data breach, I think it is before now that we have loan sharks, because I don't call them loan apps. I call them loan sharks, where you would borrow 20,000 and every month, as far as you are still, you have not paid the loan, you keep paying 20,000, I mean the amount to borrow, you keep paying it until it becomes impossible for you to pay off. I mean, those are sharks. They swap. So, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, where the CBN withdrew all their licenses. So their licenses were withdrew. So hardly will you see a loan app that does that now. And in the case, if you see any, it is good to report them. It means most of them are actually, they are operating, they are having like unauthorized operation in Nigeria because they do not have license. Most of the guys that do that, their licenses were withdrawn. Also on rectification or ratification of data. You can actually ratify your data by simply writing to the organization that owns it. Usually, how you can know how to ratify data is that you should take a look at the privacy policy of the organization and what is their provisions as to the ratification of data. So using that, you can call back for it, you can write to them to amend your data, to adjust your data, and it really works. Those that don't work, if they don't work, you actually can trigger regulatory authority on them. And I believe that Nigeria is still emerging on this data protection. And in Africa, Nigeria is doing fantastically well than any other country on data protection. I believe that when you have issues on data protection, especially issues that bother about your right as a data subject, don't keep quiet about it. Don't keep quiet. If you observe that the person is intimidating you based on the data that you see about you, you should actually report. Not to the police, because the police, most of them might not know what data protection is. But report to the commission, report to, you could even write to them, you could threaten them with legal suits, briefs, and I believe that they would really comply with it. Thank you, I believe that's all the questions.
With more confidence. So instead of removing prejudice, these tools risk making it permanent. A very good example of this is the popular sentencing algorithm COMPAS, that is Correctional Offender Management Providing for Alternative Sanctions, used in the US courts. When it was investigated in 2016 by ProPublica, it was revealed that black defendants were twice as likely to be wrongly flagged as high risk for reoffending compared to white defendants of the same record. COMPAS didn't hate black people. That's to be known. It was only echoing patterns of injustice that was trained on, and that's what makes AI dangerous. Tools like RedPaul claim to predict crime hotspots, but because they are trained on historic arrest data, mostly from over-policed black and Latino neighborhoods, the AI just keeps sending police to the same places, and this is not prediction, it's just repetition. In the UK, the Durham police use the ARC system, that's the Arm Assessment Risk Tool, to predict criminal behaviors. Instead of local police records with overrepresented, marginalized communities, critics warn that this could lead to deeper surveillance of poor and minority areas under the illusion of neutral technology. There are various there are various sources of bias in AI systems, AI synthesis system, and I've already mentioned some of them. Talk about historical data bias, labeling bias, and representation bias. We also have algorithm bias. Then types of bias in AI sentencing tools are 1. Racial bias, 2. Gender bias, 3. Socioeconomic bias, 4. Geographic bias. You might think that's a problem in America and this doesn't concern us. But you should know that AI does not need visa to cross borders. As Nigeria continues to modernize its justice system, you may be tempted to adopt these tools. The appeal is clear, the promise of speed and data-driven efficiency. But what is fast is not always fair. If we import bias systems without careful scrutiny, we risk automation inequality. And that's dangerous because sentencing isn't just about paperwork. It's people's life, freedom, and reputation that hang in the balance. So if we let machine decide fate, we better be very sure that they are not secretly copying our mistakes. In conclusion, AI has the potential to help the legal system, but only if we stay away. AI is not a magic wand. It reflects our society, flaws and all. We can't let the myth of objectivity blind us. A biased man is enough, but a biased machine pretending to be neutral, that's even worse. If we want fair justice, we need more than machine. We need clear conscience. Because the law must be just, and if it must feel just, it must feel just even when powered by a machine. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Alright, so my name is Olufike Shode, and I am a 400 level law student of this prestigious faculty. So I will be making my presentation on generative AI and legal citation. So before I continue, I would like to thank of the program, the Dean of the Faculty of Law, and our facilitator here, the distinguished speaker, for this privilege to speak at this event. I say thank you, sir. So, generative AI and legal citation. So I know everyone here today would agree with me that AI has done a lot to make our lives easier, and it has streamlined a lot of processes and conserved our time in doing a lot of things. And even from financial transactions to research to buying and selling to a lot of things, AI has made life easier for us. And amongst the profession that AI has impacted is the legal profession. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is just basically when we create machines that have human cognitive abilities in order to learn, to make decisions, and to solve problems. And one notable field of AI is generative AI, in which you give instructions to AI, you give inputs to AI, and it responds and gives you a new content based on your prompts. So generative AI is response based on text, audios, videos, and a lot of output. So a popular example of generative AI is ChatGPT, which most of us use since its inception in November 2022. I know we use it for research purposes, we use it for to reward our documents, we use it to research some things on it, and it gives us our answers in a twinkle of an eye. And it is such that even in the legal profession, we have instances where lawyers make use of ChatGPT to do legal research and drafting, which is known to be the bread and butter of the legal profession, because every lawyer has to have the skill of legal research and drafting. So it has made a lot of things easier for lawyers in that they work with tight deadlines and they have a lot to draft, a whole lot of information to work with and to streamline it to the case they are working on. So generative AI like ChatGPT might be accurate, it can give us a lot of information, precise and accurate. However, there is a problem of hallucination. When we say hallucination now, in normal terms, psychiatric terms, when you say someone hallucinates, you say the person sees or feels something to exist, but in reality, that thing does not exist. But the person still proves to you that this thing exists. So this can be a problem of generative AI like ChatGPT. I know I fell victim of ChatGPT 200 level when I had a constitutional law assignment on courts, and I went to ChatGPT with the mindset that it was going to give me a correct response, only for it to fabricate a case for me, which I used in my assignment. And on getting to school, I saw that the case I used is not in fact a real case in reality. So generative AI has the tendency to fabricate cases which might sound plausible, which might sound authentic, but in fact it is not true. So there was this case of a lawyer which used ChatGPT cases in court before a judge, and it was an airline case where his client suffered injury with an airline, and he used the cases, the ChatGPT to do his research and bring out cases, only for the judge to discover that the case was AI generated, and of course he faced sanctions. And the lawyer said he only discovered ChatGPT when some college students recommended it to him, and he found it so intriguing to see AI just type something in and it gives you responses concerning it. So it raises issues concerning hallucination, that is fabricating cases and citations, which is a very important aspect of the legal profession, where you have to cite authorities, give credit to authors, and in order for them to be recognized in your work. So another issue is the issue of incompleteness, is the issue of having incorrect formats in legal citations and all of that. So I know most of us are falling victims of generative AI hallucinations, and if I ask most of us, our answer will be in the affirmative, in our assignments, in our research. So in conclusion, in as much as we want to use AI for legal research, legal drafting, legal citation, there is still an important place of going back, checking through, filtering these things, and ensuring that we only use AI to aid our research and not rely on it for judgment, and not entirely place our faith in it for judgment. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, distinguished faculty members, the dean, the survey, esteemed lecturers, our honored guests, and my fellow students. My name is Sheung Wu. As an AI enthusiast, preparing for the future from now, and a defender of ethics and responsibility, I will be speaking on a subject that sits at the intersection of innovation and caution, which is AI and client confidentiality, the risk of data exposure. But before I start, I'd like to tell us a good story. Tunde had lost his job. He worked for a big company for 10 years. But one day, They told him he was no longer needed. He felt confused, so angry, and went to meet a lawyer. He believed he was treated unfairly. During the meeting, Tunde told the lawyer something very personal. He said, and I quote, "I think I was sacked because I had affairs with my boss's wife." He didn't plan to say it at first, but he felt the lawyer should know everything. It was meant to be between them as a secret. Later, the lawyer used an AI tool to help to understand the case better. Meanwhile, this AI was created by Jide, a tech guy who just happened to be the friend of Tunde's former boss, Mr. Tayo. Later on, Mr. Tayo went to court for a decision for a different reason, which is Tunde's boss went for a court for different reason. He was filing a divorce case against his wife for cheating. In front of everyone like this, he showed a document, an AI report that said Tunde had slept with his wife. It had Tunde's name on it. It even showed the chart, the name of the lawyer here. Tunde was shocked. So, in such instance, is the lawyer liable for breach of confidentiality? Now, to kickstart, before the emergence of AI or artificial intelligence, the lawyer-client relationship was anchored on trust, discretion, and strict professional accuracy. The risk of third-party intrusion was very minimal, safeguarded by lawyers' personal integrity and fiduciary weight of legal responsibility. However, in today's world, lawyers increasingly depend on cloud storage, AI-powered legal research tools, virtual assistants, and automated client management systems. While these tools offers remarkable efficiency, they also expose legal practice to significant data vulnerabilities. According to IBM, artificial intelligence, AI, refers to technology that enables computer and machine to stimulate human learning, comprehension, decision-making, creativity, and autonomy. With the risk of AI, human tasks are now executed more efficiently, often without the direct involvement of another person. According to Harvard Legal Technology Survey, AI usage in law firms has surged from 11% in 2023 to 30% in 2024. It is very common and a tried law that law is very dynamic, evolving in response to societal needs. And this was affirmed in the case of Olobo Laramo against Umechubu. In the spirit of this adaptation, lawyers and aspiring legal professionals have begun using AI for drafting legal arguments, conducting legal research, and fulfilling both academic and commercial use.
We've almost gotten to the end of the program, so we just take a short closing remark from the facilitator before we end the program.
Just to cap up everything you have said so far, I want to appreciate everybody that have added their time. You have stayed all through the entire session, and if there is one thing you must take home, is that as no matter how you want to use a machine must remain a machine, and a human must be a human. You must not impose the responsibility of a machine
to a human, neither will you put the responsibility of a human to a machine. Maybe that would help you, when you are using all the AI tools. You must be careful and you must use them responsibly. Remember, there is somebody that is invincible at the back door that you have not seen, and you can't tell what the person can do with your data. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming. Even though some came late, at least quite a sizable number came late. And we hope that will not happen again. Because some people are afraid that AI or robots might take over human functions. So by the time you are expected to be somewhere and you are not there on time, you never know, they might just replace you with robots. So always ensure that you get to your assignments on time. Alright? So to give the final remarks and say the vote of thanks, I want to invite the chairman of the Faculty Ceremonies Committee and the chairman of the Faculty Research Committee, Dr. Adijat Brat.
It's a good day, good afternoon all. I want to especially say a very pleasant good afternoon to the Dean of Law, Vice Chancellor in absentia, they've been here, they've left, and I also want to thank all the HODs, all the professors in the house, and particularly Mr. Kingsley Owada. Thank you so much for honoring our call. We know that you're busy really, but then you should. And then to grade OUIs. Great. You're not great again. Great OUIs. Great. Of the greatest. This is not great. But we should actually wipe ourselves. So, of the greatest, and the greatest, greatest video, whichever one, okay, it's okay like that. So, we don't know the end of it. But what I know is that something will remain certain, and that is that AI can never replace human beings. That's the last comment of the facilitator himself. Humans will be human, and our machines or robots will be robots, will always be there. They will learn our own mode, not we learning them just that way. They are imitating us, and definitely we have so much also to give back. And what I've also noticed about AI is the use of AI by students too. I'm very happy that Shonde mentioned that most of the cases that we get from them are fabricated. Sometimes I test it by saying, give me cases on this and that, and we don't bring a long list of cases. I don't say how many of these are you say, actually I fabricated them. So you can see that it is ChatGPT. Do you know what GPT is in Yoruba? What is GPT? Obtaining by what? By hospital. So it's 419. So definitely, whatever you gain from there, you should just actually use it for good and also verify and re-verify. Thank you very much. I think we will appreciate you so much. As for announcements, tomorrow, by God's grace, we'll be having an exhibition of our research products, faculty products. Students, if you have any research products that you want to exhibit, you are welcome. Please come forward. You have written a paper, you have done a research, you want us to know, you want the university community to know, please come forward with it tomorrow. We'll give you a stand, you will showcase it, just be at hand to do what? To explain to us what you mean by those researches. And definitely, there is the battle of the what? The battle of the what? The battle of the wings, really. And that is between legal magnet and the inner temple. A shout out to legal magnet and inner temple. You to give a shout out to them. Let's give them a round of applause. Tomorrow we'll be meeting at the Oluwasegun Moot Court House, court number 1, by God's grace, to look at an issue burdened on AI and plagiarism. Can you actually use AI to plagiarize? It is sub duties. I won't say more. When we say something is sub duties, what does it mean? When we say something is sub duties, what does it mean? It's before the court, so nobody should comment on it. The judge is here, and definitely I know some of the wings are here too. And tomorrow we'll be seeing this. And by God's grace, we should all grace our occasion. As a matter of fact, we should know that the court will sit at 11 a.m. tomorrow. After 11 a.m., nobody will be allowed to enter into that courtroom and should come in properly dressed. don't allow your trousers to be, you know, I won't say more. And please don't swear too much. I will say more than that. I will say more than that. Definitely, we will maintain all the decorum that should be maintained in the court tomorrow by God's grace. And tomorrow will be the end of the fair for 2025. And we're looking forward to the University Research Fair. We will also ask all of you to participate by God's grace. So on that note, I want to say a pleasant afternoon to you all and see you all tomorrow again by God's grace. Thank you very much.
Dr. Oluwakemi Amudat Ayodele give us the closing prayer.
We thank Almighty Allah for giving us this day. We thank Him for making us witness the day. We thank Him for the speaker that came here. And we thank Him for all the members of staff in this research fair. We pray that all other programs, the Almighty God will control it for us. And everything we are going to do tomorrow will also come to fruition. And everything will go to the glory of the Almighty God. All this we ask in His name. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Praise to be to Almighty God for this day. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim, the beneficent, the most merciful, the beneficent, the master of the day of judgment. Lead us to the right path, the path of those who have earned your mercy, not of those who have earned your anger and disgrace. Amen.